Essex, Massachusetts has a rich history in shipbuilding. The Essex Historical Society and Shipbuilding Museum occupies the former A.D. Story shipyard, located on Main Street in Essex. It was a central part of the town's productive shipbuilding history, known for crafting sturdy wooden, oak-planked, and double-sawn frame vessels suitable for the fishing industry. Production happened between 1872 and 1932. The yard constructed approximately 425 vessels. The shipyard is noted for building the Columbia, a fishing schooner designed to compete with the Canadian Bluenose. Other notable vessels include the passenger steamer Cape Cod, 1900, and the dragger Tina B, 1945. In use for shipbuilding since at least 1813, hundreds of vessels ranging from 10-foot skiffs to 175 feet steam trawlers have been built up and launched from this site by 3 generations of the Story family, along with many others. Frame Up, A Story of Essex, Its Shipyards and Its People, by Dana Story, written in 2001 and later reissued, is a detailed personal account of the maritime history of Essex, Massachusetts. As a member of a prominent shipbuilding family, Story captures the story, lore, and labor of the town's now largely vanished wooden shipbuilding industry. The book offers a collection of personal memories and narratives detailing the construction of vessels, the lives of the shipbuilders, and the unique, tight-knit culture of the town. It highlights the sawn frame method of construction and the specialized, often challenging, of the local artisans. It documents the era when Essex was renowned for producing over 3,300 wooden ships, mostly fishing schooners for the Gloucester fishing fleet. The book portrays the craftsman's skill from the aristocrat inboard joiners to the laborers who built vessels by hand. The text captures a pivotal era of American shipbuilding, focusing on the techniques that faded away with the artisans. The industry impact is it explains how the industry shaped the town's and the region's identity. The EHSSM, Essex Historical Society and Shipbuilding Museum, provides lots of shipbuilding tools and artifacts from this era. The Essex Shipbuilding Museum has over 8,000 artifacts related to the local history of shipbuilding. The tools and artifacts shown aren't the entire collection, but rather a small sampling of what they have.
In the quiet seaside town of Manchester-by-the-Sea, one small shack would grow into a North Shore legend. But the story of Captain Dusty's doesn't begin with ice cream. It begins with a man named Bruce Lacine. Bruce Lacine was originally from South Carolina. During the Great Depression, he worked as a porter on a private train car. At one point, his travels left him stranded in Manchester. Instead of leaving, he decided to stay. Bruce did not have much. He used his savings and bought a small rowboat. With it, he began fishing the waters just beyond the harbor. What started as a survival soon became a business. During World War II, when fresh food was in high demand, Bruce became one of Manchester's most reliable sources for fish and lobster. Eventually, he opened a small shack that served as a seafood and bait shop. His fish came straight from the ocean outside his door. He worked endlessly with no days off. Bruce was known for his warm personality and kindness. When customers sometimes looked at him with suspicion, worried about sand or grit on their catch, he would grin and say, "It's just dust." That simple phrase stuck, and that's how the name Captain Dusty's was born. For 50 years, Bruce owned and operated Captain Dusty's fish and lobster place. He was very successful with a ton of business. Years later, the business evolved. In 1996, John and Lisa Bartlett took over the Manchester location after meeting in Colorado in 1995. They saw potential in the name and the history. While honoring Bruce's legacy, they expanded in a new direction: ice cream. In 2002, they opened a second location in Salem, in a former gift shop. Over time, Captain Dusty's grew into a North Shore favorite, with locations in Manchester-by-the-Sea, Beverly Farms, and Salem. Today, the company sells around 20,000 gallons of ice cream across 4 locations with varying flavors and toppings. What began as a rowboat and fishing shack has become a beloved part of the community. But at its heart, Captain Dusty's is still about the same thing Bruce Lacine built decades ago: simple food, hard work, and a smile that makes people feel at home. Today, Captain Dusty's is still a very popular shop, with tourists coming from all over buying this ice cream after a long day at Singing Beach or a day at summer playground. From fresh caught lobster to scoops of ice cream, the legacy of Captain Dusty's lives on.
Manchester-by-the-Sea is one of Massachusetts' beautiful towns of the North Shore. It wasn't always Manchester-by-the-Sea, as it used to be called Jeffreys Creek until it was changed in 1645. As you can clearly see, Manchester has been around for a long time, holding numerous memories and giving more than enough room to evolve into a better community over the years. Even a small community can portray a big one. One place in particular that holds a lot of memories in several different people's hearts is Floyd's Candy.
Starting in 1932, Floyd's Candy Store, located in downtown Manchester by the Sea on 11th Central Street, was a family-owned business. It was run by Alice Rice, the mother of Frederick Lincoln Rice. It soon became popular and well-loved in the 1960s to the 1970s for numerous different types of penny candy and comic books. Some kids said at Floyd's Penny Candy Store you could buy gum with a parachute jumper that you chuck high into the air to see him catch wind and float to the ground. This candy store was fondly loved by generations, having been around for about 20 years.
Floyd's Candy Store was adored by generations throughout Manchester by the Sea. It was a place to be with a warm and welcoming atmosphere. The store sadly closed in the 2000s, but it has still been meaningful to many generations who got to experience this. Manchester will forever be a place that holds memories like no other, one place being Floyd's Candy Store. Many stores like Floyd's Candy Store have opened near Manchester, such as Nicholas's Candies, located in Gloucester, bringing joy to each community. Stores like these are nostalgic and warm and only bring positive thoughts and experiences. Even though Floyd's is now closed, eventually more places such as this one will open to revive the tradition and let future generations of children come to experience the enjoyment that other children have encountered, shaping memories that will last a lifetime. Manchester by the Sea will always be a place to come for an eye-opening experience, whether it's known as Jeffreys Creek or as Manchester, that many of us know today.
Manchester, Massachusetts, a scenic and popular tourist destination with a rich history. Originally founded and settled as Jeffreys Creek and officially incorporated as a town in 1945. Along with the town comes Singing Beach. The land was originally part of the area settled by English colonists in 1929, with the town formally purchasing rights from the Agawam people in the 1700s. It was given its name in the mid-19th century for the unique squeaking or singing sound the sand makes. In order for the sand to make the sound, the sand grains have to be round and between 0.1 and 0.5 millimeters in diameter, which is about the thickness of a sheet of paper or very fine human hair, and the sand must contain silica, and there needs to be a low humidity or dry air. In the 19th century, the beach became popular for the Gilded Age elite. It grew the attention of many, including banker Gardner M. Lane, T. Jefferson Coolidge, Jr., Alice Forbes Perkins Hooper, and many more. The beach featured over 130 bathhouses at its peak, though many were destroyed by the storms in the 1930s. During the Gilded Age, Singing Beach was a spot for the wealthy to swim and adventure into the Atlantic. Not only was the beach a popular spot, what made it so great was the bathhouse. The bathhouse was built in the early 1920s and is still around today. It was primarily used for the changing in the swimwear, storing street clothes, and included restrooms, which were often segregated at the time. Bathhouses originated in the late 19th century for the wealthy for changing, rent, modest swimwear, as it was not commonly owned, and to socialize. In the 1920s, bathhouses became large, community-focused structures offering lockers, showers, saltwater pools, restaurants, and lounging areas. Today, the Singing Beach Bathhouse includes restrooms and a snack shack. The beach is about half a mile wide and is located about a half a mile from the MBTA train station, making it a large tourist attraction, but also a fan favorite of many locals because of the easy access. On warm and sunny spring or summer days, you will find it thriving with people, both from this area and others. You'll encounter people swimming, playing in the sand, lounging in the sun, catching up with friends, or just soaking in the beautiful location atmosphere.
Manchester Yacht Club is the center of a bustling group of committed sailors on the North Shore and beyond. Their clubhouse, an inspiring mix of historical architecture sitting at Tuck's Point, tucked deep within Manchester, provides the charming venue for parties, regattas, and relaxing evenings in the sun.
This love for racing is deep-rooted in the club's history, tracing back to its very beginning.
In the 1890s, the town of Manchester had become the seasonal home to a collection of summer residents who went there to enjoy the seaside pleasures during the hot summer months, and they were bored.
In 1892, their solution, resulting from a shared love of sailing, was Manchester Yacht Club. The stated purpose of the yacht club was for the purpose of encouraging yachting.
Its original members included members of the Beverly Farms Yacht Club who had, prior to the creation of the clubhouse, been operating out of a bathhouse on West Beach.
The location of the original club was found in 1895, when the town temporarily gave NYC a portion of the land, part of what is now Tuts Point, and shortly after, members of the club voted to buy that land, cementing it as property of the club. The location took advantage of the countless opportunities offered by Manchester's expansive natural harbor and the beautiful landscape.
The Manchester Yacht Club's founding reflected both the growing interest in yachting along the Massachusetts coast and a desire to create lasting social and sporting institutions. NYC was represented and won the C1 Haka, the oldest regatta in America, twice, in 1905 and 1910.
Spirit was strong in its early days. As early as 1897, the club began hosting its well-loved annual Water Sports Day.
The tradition continued into the 1950s when changing times and faster-paced lives gradually brought it to a close.
House rules were created in 1904, demonstrating the club's culture and values.
As Gordon Abbott Jr., the son of Gordon Abbott, one of the original founders, described the period, "There were few adult males around, and we kids were brought up racing and sailing our own dinghies without formal instruction."
After the war, a new wave of young sailors joined the club, and the club came back strong.
By the 60s and into the 70s, the club was feeling the effects of time. 2 new launch boats had been bought, but the buildings themselves were worse for wear. The 70s saw a return in fervor yet again for dinghy racing. Boats like the 420s, Lasers, Sunfish, and Hobie Cats boomed as fiberglass manufacturing became cheap. Manchester Sailing Association started up around this time. They brought junior sailing to a much larger group of people and operated out of NYC's clubhouse. MSA remains now, even after NYC's junior program has all but disappeared.
The 90s were a big time for the club. The 2 launch boats used today were bought, the Henry Hall and the Carl V. McGee.
The club was restored to some extent in 1991, but they still saw a movement to redo the clubhouse completely with its original architectural beauty. This was achieved in 1996 and the current clubhouse was constructed. The chimney is the only part that remains from the original. The Rhodes 19 fleet also became prominent during this time as the boat became more and more popular. It seemed the spirit of racing had returned in full force. The Paddon Bull and Fall series, hosted by NYC, are still classics in the season's racing circuit in Massachusetts Bay. The Crocker Memorial Race, hosted in conjunction with the Manchester Harbor Boat Club, remains one of the most well-attended races in the area.
The club stands today at Tuts Point and continues on for the purpose of encouraging yachting.
Off the coast of Massachusetts near Salem Sound lie the rugged island known as the Great Misery and Little Misery. The peaceful appearance hides the dark and long history of them. Over the years, powerful storms, navigational mistakes, and mechanical failures have caused several ships to meet their fate in these waters. Today we explore the stories of 3 historic shipwrecks connected to this area. One vessel connected to the region's shipwrecks history is the SS City of Rockland. This paddle-driven luxury steamer was capable of carrying up to 2,000 passengers throughout its career. The ship developed a reputation for accidents. It collided with other vessels multiple times and even partially sank while moored in Boston Harbor. Eventually, the ship ran aground between the Great Misery and Little Misery Island. Though its remains were later burned, parts of the ship's ribs can still be seen at low tide, offering us a glimpse of the past. Monohansett rests on the north side of Great Misery Island. Built at the end of the Civil War, the vessel had an interesting connection to American history. It was reportedly one of General Ulysses S. Grant's favorite ships. Despite its reputation, it eventually fell victim to the dangerous waters surrounding the island. The USS New Hampshire was a massive 196-foot ship-of-the-line warship. While being towed by the tugboat Perth Amboy, disaster struck when a fire broke out on board. Cause of the fire's remains are unknown. The burning vessel was eventually abandoned near southwest corner Graves Island. Built in Portsmouth, New Hampshire between 1816 and 1864, the ship had a long history for its final resting place off the coast of Massachusetts. After the wreck, the remains of the ship were sold at auction for $5,000. The schooner Alice M. Colburn met its fate during a violent storm. This large 225-foot 4-masted vessel crashed against the northwest corner of Great Egg Rock. Fortunately, the crew survived. They abandoned the ship and were rescued by the Coast Guard, who helped bring them safely to shore. The Alice M. Colburn had been built in Bath, Maine in 1896, before its tragic encounter with the rocky coastline. Perhaps one of the most dramatic stories belongs to Albert Gallatin, an iron-hulled steamer that served in the United States Revenue Cutter Fleet. The vessel measured 142 feet long. On January 6, 1892, the ship left Kittery, Maine, heading for Provincetown, Massachusetts. However, the crew soon realized that two of the 7 typical crew members were missing. At around 11 a.m., the ship went off course just 15 minutes later. It slammed into the Boo-Hoo Ledge. As the storm intensified, the ship began to flood. In the chaos, one of the smokestacks collapsed, falling onto crew member Jacobson, killing him instantly. The remaining crew escaped in lifeboats, but the ship's fate was sealed. By 4:30 that afternoon, the vessel split in half and sank beneath the waves. Today, the waters around the Great Misery Island appear calm and quiet, but beneath the surface lies the hidden story of survival and adventure. These shipwrecks serve as reminders of the challenges sailors face navigating the rocky coast of New England. Although the ocean may erase the ships, it will never erase the stories.
The Folly Cove designers were a group of women based in Cape Ann who had no prior experience in art. The group was founded by Virginia Lee Burton, best known as the illustrator of children's books like Mike Mulligan and His Steam Shovel, The Little House, and others. At the time, it was difficult for large ships to get in and out of Folly Cove to bring goods, so the people who wanted nice things had to make them by hand. Virginia Lee Burton's block-printed curtains captured the attention of her neighbors who wanted to learn how to make their own. The making of a linoleum print began with sketching an idea on the linoleum block and then carefully carving it out. The prints were then stamped on fabric using printing ink. The whole process would take 100 hours or more. Virginia Lee, better known as Ginny, believed that through practice anyone could be an artist. Ginny pushed the new designers to work hard and to work from real life rather than photographs or imagination. Because of this, the designers took inspiration from nature, their home, and the areas around them. The group worked together from 1938 to 1969 and met in the Folly Cove barn. Each season of the year was dedicated to a different part of the printing process. In the fall, the designers would practice their drawing skills and plan their prints. Some women made up to 300 drawings before starting their final work. In the wintertime, the women would bring in their work for critiques. Once approved, they would begin carving their linoleum blocks. By spring, the women were ready to ink their prints, and beginning in summer 1940, they held public exhibitions of their prints, ranging from decorative napkins to nightgowns to even swimwear. These exhibitions were well attended, and the group became beloved by locals. As the designers continued making art from 1941 to 1955, they submitted work to 16 museum exhibitions and supplied retailers and wholesalers, such as Lord & Taylor and F. Shoemaker & Company. Their work was praised as a new direction in fabric design. Despite rising acclaim and the tempting offers she received, Ginny refused to let the prints be altered or monopolized by large companies. When Ginny died in 1968, the Folly Cove designers came to a halt. In 1970, they donated their books, prints, and everything else to the Cape Ann Museum, promising to never let the prints be sold or reproduced again. Though the existence of the designers remains unknown to many, perhaps that is what Virginia Lee Burton would have wished. To be seen not by fame, but by a quiet dedication to the community, the desire to share something beautiful.